It's all going to zero against Bitcoin.
It's going up forever.
You're against Bitcoin, you're against freedom.
Good morning, everybody. We are back. It is Wednesday, September 27th. An interesting development in this Russel Brand saga. He came back Monday with a solid stream, and we got a clip where he was talking with this guest, and the signal couldn't be clearer. And we've been saying this for a long time on the show. It is Bitcoin or it is slavery. Say what you want about Russel Brand, but a theme has been coming to fruition lately, whether it's from Russel Brand or other, freedom activists. It is basically a constant theme we've seen throughout history, may I say, not even just in recent history, but all of history. If you speak out against the system, you will be silenced. You will be deplatformed. You will have your money taken away from the system. And this is how they attack people that speak power or truth to power, as they say. And this is the ultimate control. Shut you off of the money and you are shut off from society. And of course, this clip is also angled in a way talking about CBDCs and the dangers of CBDCs, the danger of digital ID system. And as I've been saying, remember what CBDCs stand for. It is not central bank digital currencies. It is central bank digital control mechanisms. So this is why we constantly advocate that you, the everyday person, should be holding Bitcoin. Because look, if these people with money, influence, power are able to get shut off from the system, what do you think is going to happen to you guys? And this is the very dangerous thread we are moving into what could be a dystopian future. This is why we say all the time, Bitcoin or slavery, and we kind of been doubling down on that meme. And we've gotten a little more hyperbolic with it. It is Bitcoin or death, guys. You want to hold Bitcoin because if they can shut you out of the system, well, they can shut your money off. How are you going to survive? And this is where we are, guys. So again, say what you want about the allegation, say what you want about Russel Brand in general, but the theme is very apparent. And it's also another theme that we've been talking about on the show about breaking the Bitcoin echo chamber. So we're going to touch on all this stuff. And of course, Russel Brand has a huge following on Rumble, of all places. He's been demonetized from YouTube and he's still able to have his audience follow him. So a couple themes here, guys. First and foremost, obviously you want to be holding Bitcoin because it is censorship resistant. They can't cut you off the money supply if you are holding Bitcoin. Second, breaking the Bitcoin echo chamber. Get this message outside of other people besides Bitcoin. What's the point of talking to just Bitcoiners when they believe what you believe? It's about waking more people up. And the third, of course, we are Simply Bitcoin and the power of independent content creators. So here we are. Bitcoin is going mainstream. You love to see it. Welcome to Simply Bitcoin. We are your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. We cover breaking news, culture, and mimetic warfare. We bring on Bitcoiners from all walks of life, from the biggest names to the everyday non-Bitcoiner. We got them all, and we will be your guide through the separation of money and state. And I'm actually really excited today. I got a little sneak peek of what we're going to be talking about today. And we got a repeat guest here. Shouts out to Brian DeMint from the Orange Pill App. How you doing, bro? Author of Bitcoin Evangelism. Excited for today's conversation. Let's not tell the people what it is yet. Let's leave it for the culture. But I think you guys are going to like this. It is about something going on at Pacific Bitcoin Festival next week. But Brian, how you doing this morning?
I'm phenomenal, man. I'm feeling really bullish right now. First of all, your guys' new intro is fire. Like if I'm having a slow morning, I listen to you guys every day. But if I know I can't get to the show yet, I'll literally turn on the intro of your show because it gets me pumped up. It really does. And I think that it's really important in bear markets to do that, to find things that get you jacked. And that's what your guys' show is all about, is just like keeping the vibe going, because we understand where this is going, and you have to be able to see around corners. History is filled with people that thought inside of the box, and there's people history is filled with people that looked around corners and thought outside of the box. And history doesn't remember any of the people that thought inside of the box, but history does remember the people that looked around corners and thought outside of the box. What box are we stuck in, or what box are we outside of? Man, I think we're outside of the box, and that's why I'm happy to be here.
Love it, Brian. I love when you come on the show. You have a way of talking that gets me inspired, and I know other people out there like it as well. So I'm excited for this one. And of course, guys, we are not alone. Shouts out to Dell, the funky hodl sapien. We are on the show live. Good to have you, Dell. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to this culture talk because yeah, I don't want to reveal too much, but it's going to be fun. And I think Pacific Bitcoin, there's going to be some videos that come out of that place. I think it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be some good meme material, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, let's get into the show.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Is your seed phrase really secure? Stampseed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of just writing them on paper. Don't store your generational wealth on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage. You want to put your generational wealth on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. Your words are actually stamped into this metal plate with this hammer and these letter stamps. And once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamped seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin with peace of mind for the long haul. Stamp your seed on Stampseed.
All right, guys, scan the QR code, get yourself titanium stamp seed kit so you don't have your seed phrase on a piece of paper in your sock drawer. Anyways, we're over here on Clark's Moody's dashboard. You guys are familiar with Clark Moody's dashboard, and we're going to read some numbers. Obviously, my favorite number is the block height. TikTok next block. It's almost like Bitcoin works. It's almost like no one cares about the Gregorian calendar anymore. The only date that matters is the block height, and we are currently at 809,603. The current Bitcoin price, according to Clark Moody's dashboard, is $26,280 per Bitcoin, which means the Moscow time, aka how much your fiat dollar is worth, aka how much Bitcoin you can buy for a single dollar, is currently at 3,805 sats per dollar. The total percentage of Bitcoin that will ever be issued is currently at 92.84%. The market cap in fiat terms is $512.5 billion. The realized monetary inflation, taking fiat currencies to school, is currently at 1.75%. The Bitcoin versus gold market cap is currently at 4.02%. We're not even at 5% of gold market cap. 5%, not even 5% of the hard money game out there. And you guys are still bearish out there. Couldn't be me, can't relate. Anyways, the total capacity, lightning capacity, public lightning capacity is 4,377.69 BTC. The hash rate the last 90 days is 389.7 exahashes. And the pending fees, I don't know if you guys been watching the pending fees. The mempools have been clogged up. I put some transactions to go through, and there was like ridiculously high fees, but hey, it is what it is. The current pending fees is 3.39 BTC, at least according to the mempool that Clark Moody is grabbing. So I told you guys, Russel Brand came in hard. As you guys know, we've been covering the saga about him getting deplatformed, demonetized from YouTube because he's saying the harsh truths out loud. And of course, if you talk against the Great Leviathan, you talk about things that do not want to be said. They have tools to stop you from doing this. And of course, some of the main ones are discredit you, deplatform you, and then the final tool in their tool bag is take you away from your banking, unbank you, as they say. As we know, it's always about the money. It will always be about the money. And so they attack you where it hurts, which is the money. Anyways, shouts out to World of Rusty. He got this great clip here. And the reason, there's obviously a few reasons we want to talk about this. As World of Rusty says, Russel Brand is back, and the message was clearer than ever. Bitcoin or slavery. The meme is getting out there, guys. Bitcoin or slavery. And before people yell at me for clickbait title, Russel Brand, of course, we know that Max Kaiser gave Russel Brand, I think it was 10,000 Bitcoin in the past. He has yet to fully come out as a Bitcoin maximalist. You know, he's been skirting around the topic. He's obviously been talking about CBDCs, digital ID systems, the dangers of all of this, the importance of freedom of speech, and the fact that one of the biggest fights in the world right now is freedom of speech. They are trying to attack speech because, as we cover all the time, from the Nayib Bukele, don't drink the elite's Kool-Aid. They will lie, smear, manipulate the truth to benefit themselves. We know this is true. And as independent content creators, it's never been more important for all of us, even you guys out there included, to continue to spread the signal. And Russel Brand brought on, I'm not even familiar with the guests, but he touched on a few things that we've touched on this show about. Obviously, Bitcoin or slavery, the dangers of CBDCs, the dangers of digital ID systems, but the signal of breaking the echo chamber. And I know you guys give Bitcoin Mag flack for bringing people onto the conference, but they talk about RFK on this clip here and how that opened their eyes to why Bitcoin is important. And before we go on, look it down here. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it here. Look how many followers Russel Brand has on Rumble. 1.6 million followers on Rumble. And, you know, Rumble really does seem like the last bastion of truth here, last bastion of freedom of speech, social media platforms. And here's the message. Let's get into it. It is a little longer than usual, but I want to play the whole thing because you can hear the guy talking in real time, talking through why Bitcoin is important and the dangers of this dystopian future that we are finding ourselves in. Anyways, here we go.
To the truckers, precisely because they represent the opportunities that become apparent when people are willing to unite against a common cause. As you say, when disobedience and disruption are presented, new possibilities occur. If the system prohibits the possibility for democratic change, then of course organization out of the system becomes absolutely necessary. One of the defining moments in the trucker protests, as well as their characterization unfairly and libelously as Nazis, was when people that were funding that protest had their funds shut down and stopped when GoFundMe rediverted those donations. What do you think is the likelihood that CBDCs, as well as new forms of identification and passports that perhaps could be inaugured as health measures, will mean that ultimately each citizen finds themselves in a position where they can be financially controlled through digital currencies, that they can be, their movement can be controlled through passports initially issued as a health measure? What do you feel we ought be doing when we're presented these ideas as solutions in order to facilitate safety and convenience?
So I didn't realize until I saw a speech by Bobby Kennedy at a Bitcoin convention, I didn't understand any about digital currency and how dangerous it is. And so Bobby Kennedy talked about how we now live in a world where we can and he pointed to the truckers and how they turned off people's finances. And he talked about how we now have latchkey totalitarianism. And that a good antidote to that is Bitcoin. And then it made me realize why the establishment demonizes Bitcoin so much, because it's blockchain and they can't control it and they can't turn off Bitcoin like they can turn off the CBDs. So I think so. I went on immediately. I bought some Bitcoin, right? And we got to do everything we can to fight back, and that's how they're going to control us. They control our wallets, they control our bank accounts. What does that do? So now if I can't control my bank account, I can't pay my electric bill, I can't pay my internet bill, and that means that I can't be on this show with you. I can't get my message out. I can't travel around the country to do my shows and bring my message to people and have people come together. I can't do any of that. So they've disappeared me. I remember I read books in high school about the establishment disappearing people and how they can do that. Well, that's exactly what they're doing, and they can do it digitally now. And so that's the big scare. People aren't awake to it. You know, I had even people who are independents or politically have no idea how important this is. The digital currency is not your friend. We need to hang on to paper money, and we need to I think we need to boost Bitcoin, especially, and boost things that are not controlled by any kind of central bank or any kind of government or a handful of capitalists. It's democracy in money, Bitcoin. And so I'm big on that now, and I think most people need to get informed about that. And if once people, because most people go, it's like, you ever heard people say, well, I don't care if they read my emails, or I don't care if I don't have anything to hide. I'm not committing any crimes. Yeah, okay. Wait till you actually get upset about something that the government or the establishment is doing. That's when they turn anything you're doing into a crime.
Wow. Dropping bombs there. All right, everyone's telling me in the chat that it looks like it's Jimmy Dore. Maybe I just couldn't tell. We've covered him on the show as well. He's been talking about Bitcoin, and it really just goes to show, guys. We say it all the time. Actually, first before we go on, it's Bitcoin, not blockchain. Jimmy, come on. And then Steve over here, he's XX. You can tell that a lot of people just still don't fully get Bitcoin. They understand that Bitcoin can solve a lot of the problems that we're seeing in the world, and it's just it's incredible just how eye-opening the Canadian trucker movement was and how important it was for Bitcoin in the last year. It seems like, or was it last year? It seems like that moment in and of itself was just so eye-opening for so many people out there that are like, wait, what is going on? How are these people the enemy when all they want to do is ensure that their livelihood is good? And then they cut them out of the system by obviously deplatforming them from their banks. And then, of course, as I mentioned, I think so many of us underestimate how important it was for RFK Jr. to be at the Bitcoin Mag conference, and it seems to be opening so many people's eyes. And of course, say what you want about politicians. Maybe RFK Jr. doesn't have all the solutions to the problems, but at least he's noticing what we notice. The problems are very obvious. It's the money, and you need to fix the money to fix the world. And obviously, it is starting to get around that the solution is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is starting to go mainstream, and I've said this for a while. Bitcoin has crossed the Rubicon into mainstream consciousness, and anyone that is awake, anyone that understands the technology behind Bitcoin, that understands what's happening in the fiat world, understands that Bitcoin is that solution. And of course, you might want to get some just in case it catches on. Guys, we are living through the separation of money and state. We are heading towards a dystopian future. If you guys out there do not choose freedom, if you guys do not stack Bitcoin, if you guys do not save in Bitcoin and you continue to partake in the fiat system, you are basically signing up for your own bondage. We are getting a little hyperbolic, but guys, we know where it is going. We know what they want to do. We know what the playbook is. It is corral you into a system that they totally control. Obviously, the CBDC system, where they can inflate your currency with surgical precision, where they can shut you out of society if you have wrong thought. And here we are. They're doing this in real time to so many content creators. And a lot of them, even if they talk about Bitcoin, they don't fully know how to protect themselves. And this is why we try to bring on as many people on the show. This is why we catered this show in such a way where we not only talk about the problems, we try to give you the solutions. It is Bitcoin. It is taking Bitcoin into self-custody. Do not leave your Bitcoin on exchanges. Potentially think about getting a multi-sig setup, maybe even just a password. Guys, the solutions are here, and more people need to know that there is a solution. Look, Russel Brand just had this conversation on his Rumble. I don't know how many views this fully got, but he's got 1.6 million followers on Rumble. And the more people hear this, the more people wake up and they ask one simple question: what in the hell is going on? And when it always comes back to, it's the money, stupid. Anyways, Brian, I see you nodding along. What's your thoughts on all this? I think I saw you writing notes too.
I'm writing notes, dude. I mean, I love the show because I identify with you, Opti. I feel like you're my spirit animal or something. So, yeah, I mean, if he has 1.6 million or 1.2 million subscribers on Rumble, he basically has all of Rumble. I mean, that's the entirety of Rumble. So it's crazy that there's an entire platform behind Russel Brand. But I think I shared this last time, this quote last time, the R. Buckminster Fuller quote. I think it's worth sharing every single day. I shared it at a keynote speech I got to do last night. But R. Buckminster Fuller said, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, you build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. And where I think that, our country is so divided right now, and the powers that be have divided us in such a good way that the far right and the far left are actually saying the same thing. They're saying burn down the existing system, right? Whether it's defund the police or it's end the, I'm kind of an end the Fed guy, but there's people that are like militantly wanting to burn down and destroy the existing system. But the Bitcoin model is more in line with the R. Buckminster Fuller approach of, we don't need to burn down the existing system. What we need to do is create the parallel system, a better system, because in a free market, people will navigate towards that system. And instead of burning down the old system, we'll actually just starve it of oxygen. We'll deprive it of oxygen, and it'll suffocate to death of its own doing, right? It will destroy itself because it can't sustain itself. It needs people to believe in it. It's like the Fed fairy. Like, it needs people to believe in it in order to live. And so if we just get people to not believe in it anymore, it will wither up and die. And that's what's happening. We're seeing that in real time with people like Russel Brand having Jimmy Dore on his show and waking people up. And somebody in the comments asked, they said, why doesn't somebody like Russel Brand, that's a freedom maximalist, why doesn't he get the Bitcoin thing? Why hasn't he gotten the Bitcoin thing? It's like Plato's cave. I think Dell shared this on a show one time. I believe it was Dell. Plato's cave, if you guys don't know what Plato's cave is, it's just a thought experiment that Plato used to talk about people that lived in a cave and all they had ever seen were shadows. They were shackled in a cave and they could only see shadows coming in from the outside. So all they thought the world was shadows. They didn't understand that there was colors and shapes and feels and textures and all these different things. And finally, one of the guys in the cave ventures out and realizes that the world's filled with brilliance and sights and sounds and tastes and pleasures and all these different things. And he comes back into the cave and tries to explain to the other captives what the world's like. And those other captives, they have no frame of reference. They just don't understand what that guy's talking about, because the paradigm through which they view the world is one that can't even comprehend the new model. So when we've only been raised on fiat currencies and the government gets to control the currency, it takes a little extra gumption for people to get it. It takes somebody to get kicked in the pants or to get kicked down or get stepped on in order for them to really get it. And they will get it. We were all there at one time, and everybody will get to Bitcoin in their own way. But sure enough, everybody will get to Bitcoin, just like Plato's cave.
Love it, Brian. I love the way you communicate. So much better than me. Anyways, Dell, what's your thoughts on all this stuff?
So I thought we were going to cover this in the culture, but I think we're going to go in a completely different direction. So I'll bring it up now. Something that I realized recently is, it was actually just this morning, it kind of hit me, that quote, who is it? Blanking on his name. It was Hayek, I think, that said the whole sly roundabout way that we need to, that's the only way that we're going to get a different system. It's kind of what Brian DeMint's talking about here. It's kind of what you were talking about there, how we need a different system that doesn't destroy the current system, leaves the current system alone, more or less, and then kind of revitalizes the system. We need to change out the blood. It's like the way that I see the money is that it's the lifeblood of the entire global economic system. Every country. People get hung up on currencies, like, oh, I've got the ruble and I've got this and I got the pound. That doesn't matter. That is your localized abstraction of money. Money is just a thing. It's like triangles or squares, math equations. Just because somebody uses a purple crayon and somebody else uses a green crayon doesn't change what the shape is. It's still the shape. Money is the actual shape. It's the underlying idea. And for the longest time, I'd heard that, I'm pretty sure it's Hayek, quote about the sly roundabout way, as though it needed to be done by people. And it's not exactly that. So tying the Xbox news and how Xbox apparently wants to have Bitcoin as a part of a way to transact, what I realized was the dream that I'd had for a while, or not really the dream, the idea is that globally people would wake up. They would realize how much better of a money Bitcoin was. But that's like asking everybody to do the work that you and I and Brian and the few, I don't know, 100,000 million people odd, it's not a billion people that are fully orange pilled. It's some millions, maybe at most 10 million, possibly globally, that truly fundamentally get why Bitcoin is a superior money. But most people on the planet have no idea what money is. They don't care. It doesn't matter. And nor should they. They've got other things to worry about. They're lumberjacks and maids and cleaners and construction. Where they don't give a crap about that. And it's like Safedine and other people have said, you shouldn't need to have an economics degree to just save money. So what I realized with the Xbox thing is your average COD player isn't going to be giving two craps about what money is and how it works. All they're going to know is that it works better. They're going to be able to get some. They're going to trade some. They're going to buy a skin or do this or do something, send some to their buddy because it's super easy and they can move it from here to there and bing, ba-bum, ba-bum, and it's instant. It's fast. They don't have to wait. There's not these pending fee and, oh, would you like to withdraw? You got to pay this. It's going to be so fast and so quick that it'll just be better. And the underlying idea here is that the sly roundabout thing isn't entirely human. It's not like everybody is being woken up to how much better Bitcoin is. It's just Bitcoin being better and people coming to it naturally. So to bring this all full circle, I think that the system is already in place, and it's like a mitochondria network. Who's the guy that's always talking about the fungus and whatnot?
Brandon Quittem.
Yeah, there you go. So it's like that. It's going to slowly work its way into the entire forest of the world and populate everything. And people are just like, I guess this is how it's always been. I mean, it's like children being born today. They don't know a world that was pre-internet. That's just how it is. And I think the generations that's being born right now, or maybe some years down the road, it's soon. I don't know when. I don't have a time scale for this. It's just going to go like, oh, yeah, Bitcoin is better. It's like, why did you guys use this weird paper crap? There's like, they'll see it around like, oh, this is kind of neat, I guess. Grandpa used this. It's stupid though. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been saying this for a while, and cue your tomatoes, guys. But I think it's just like the iPhone theory, guys. Like, look, I use an iPhone. Say what you want about Android or whatever, but iPhone just works. Do you think I care how the internals of this works? No, it just does what I want it to do. And as a Bitcoiner, I think it's the same thing that we'll see happening. Obviously number go up will help us get more people interested in Bitcoin, but it simply does what you want it to do, which is store value through space and time, censorship resistant, hard capped at 21 million. I can literally scan a QR code and send you money right now. Like, it works. It's better than fiat money. There's no intermediary. There's no bank I have to trust. It just works. And I think this is moving forward that, of course, like all of us here, we had to feel the pain. We had to wake up that we noticed the patterns. We're like, there's something wrong with the world. And what is it? Well, we know it's the money. And now we know we have the best money. And now more and more people are going to wake up to what is the best money. And of course, it is simply Bitcoin. Anyways, guys, let's plug in the Bitcoin Conference 2024. Well, actually, I wanted to plug this one in, this page. If you guys are in Europe, we know we're worldwide here. And shouts out to all you guys that listen to us that aren't in the States. Get to the Bitcoin Conference in Amsterdam. It is October 12th and 13th, so literally like 2 weeks away. But we will see you guys in Nashville in 2024, July 25th to 27th. You can use the promo code simply, all caps, when you get a ticket, and you can get a discount. Anyways, guys, let's get into the news for today.
The Daily News.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation Devices. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US. It's fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet designed with a UX reminiscent of a simple feature phone. So you will know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes. Experience the peace of mind that comes with taking ownership of your own keys. After a massive sellout during Bitcoin Miami 2023, the Passport is back in stock at foundationdevices.com. Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, completely air gap security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. If you're thinking about getting your Bitcoin off exchanges, this is the one for you. Check out the Passport link in the show notes below to learn more.
Or scan the QR code right there and you can get to the site. Get yourself a Passport. They're pretty. They're so pretty. I know you guys don't like the Nokia, but I love it. I think it's so pretty. All right. Anyways, I'm getting roasted in the chat because I use an iPhone and I don't know how it works. Yeah, whatever, guys. It is what it is. I'm sure you don't know how the iPhone works or your Android, whatever you're using. Anyways, that's not the story here. The news story is, as you guys maybe are aware, or maybe you're not, Gary Gensler is in a hearing, like literally as we speak. I was covering I watched, I think, the first hour and a half, and we hadn't touched on this Bitcoin ETF news. But I think from what Rustin's telling me in the chat, we will have some clips for you guys soon. I'm hearing that Tom Emmer is absolutely tearing up Gary Gensler. Anyways, the news for today is what we got here is U.S. lawmakers urge SEC chair to approve Bitcoin ETFs immediately. And we got the article here. So, full letter to the SEC dated yesterday, September 26, addressing Chair Gary Gensler, Representatives Mike Flood, Tom Emmer, Richie Torres, and Wiley Nickel claims SEC continuously discriminated against spot Bitcoin ETFs. And before I go on again, I do have the stuff here today. This hearing is happening as we speak. I think I see, yep. It's still live. I have it over here. I wasn't able to cover the whole thing. I saw about the first hour and a half. And before I get into the letter, I want to give some context here. And Gary Gensler said this before, and he was actually getting grilled on this morning. And it's the idea that we've heard it again. You've heard this before, guys, that Bitcoin is a commodity. And Gary Gensler basically doubled down on the idea that Bitcoin is not a security. It does not meet the Howey test. And McHenry was just grilling him on that. Okay, so why do I say that? Because as we know, Bitcoin, at least in current legal framework, is considered a commodity. And here we go. So this is the letter. Congress of the United States, Washington, D.C., September 26, 2023. Dear Honorable Gary Gensler. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I think there's a few points in here that we can definitely jump off. Here we go. We write to ensure the Securities Exchange Commission does not continue to discriminate against spot Bitcoin exchange traded products, ETPs. The SEC is responsible for making certain that products that comply with investors' protection standards are made available to investors. This position was affirmed 3-0 by the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia last month in Grayscale Investors LLC versus SEC. The Circuit Court upheld Grayscale's position that the SEC violated the Administrative Procedures Act when it denied Grayscale's application to convert Grayscale Bitcoin Trust to a spot Bitcoin ETP. In its decision, the Court of Appeals held that Grayscale's proposed Bitcoin ETP is materially similar across relevant regulatory factors to the approved Bitcoin futures ETPs. It further found the SEC's unexplained discounting of the obvious financial and mathematical relationship between the spot and futures markets falls short of the standard for reasoned decision making. The Court of Appeals concluded that in the absence of a coherent explanation, this, unlike regulatory treatment of like products, is unlawful. The court's finding underscores the fundamental point. A spot Bitcoin ETP is indistinguishable from a Bitcoin futures ETP. Thus, the SEC's current posture is unattainable moving forward. During your time at the SEC, you have constantly stated that digital asset firms should come in and register with the SEC. Market participants have relied on your statements and have filed applications for a regulated spot Bitcoin ETP. Following the Court of Appeals decision, there is no reason to continue to deny such applications under inconsistent and discriminatory standards. So again, this hearing is going live, so I wasn't able to get you Gary Gensler's take on this because they're doing that hearing literally as we speak. But a few things are glaring to me, and we've been hearing the rumors going around Twitter that we probably won't be seeing a spot Bitcoin ETF by 2023. And furthermore, one of the things that I did pick up this morning is that apparently SEC office is going to put most, like 90% of their staff on furlough coming in 3 days. So it is becoming very clear that we're probably not going to see a spot Bitcoin ETF by this year. And of course, I do have the deadlines here for all of the ETFs. And we've passed the first deadline for most of these. And the next deadline was going to be in October, starting around the 17th through the 19th. And if this furlough lasts like the last one, which was around 35 days, it doesn't seem like this second deadline will be hit for spot Bitcoin ETFs. And then the next one is in November, only one of those. And then after that, it's going to wait until January to see a spot Bitcoin ETF. Obviously, as a Bitcoiner, we take spot Bitcoin directly. We don't need an ETF. But it really just goes to show, and a question we've been asking here all the time on the show is, what is Gary Gensler actually looking at? What is he waiting for? And of course, as a pessimistic Fields take today would be, they're waiting for their friends over there, the corporate cronies, to stack their bags. Obviously, you FUD Bitcoin, you stack your bag, and then once you have your bag fully stacked, you unleash the good news on Bitcoin. You'll approve a spot Bitcoin ETF. You allow all the capital to go into Bitcoin. But I think it just goes to show that there still are some politicians out there. I know, get cue your tomatoes. There's still some good politicians out there that are actively looking out, maybe for their best self-interest, but also wondering, what is Gary Gensler doing there? They constantly roll out that they are here to protect the retail investor, and yet it just seems like they are constantly doing the opposite and only protecting the interest of their lobbying groups, their business partners, and it just goes to show that we are living in a corrupt crony capitalist system, guys. And look, I'm not here to speculate on what Gary Gensler's doing, even though I already did, and I don't know what his intentions are. I don't know what his incentives are. But as someone that taught a class on Bitcoin, it's very glaring that Gary Gensler is lagging his feet. Like he's what is he delaying for? What is the reasons behind this when we know that Bitcoin should very easily be approved? But of course, they do not want you to stack, and they don't want the exit route to be open, as we know all the time. And you guys are going to troll me. You know, Chrissy Lagarde said, if there's an exit route, they will use it. Well, they know that there's an exit route, and they're constantly doing things to delay that, to gaslight the individual out there so that they don't stack Bitcoin. Because once the green light is open for the average individual to know that it's okay to hold Bitcoin, the floodgates are going to open and things are going to get absolutely crazy. So, hey, I don't know. We'll keep you updated on stuff that's coming out from this hearing today, because I watched the first hour and a half and there was nothing in it that was at least talking about spot Bitcoin ETFs. I think it was probably the second hour where they got to that conversation, but it looks like Gary Gensler is getting grilled right now for the spot Bitcoin ETF. Anyways, Brian, what's your thoughts on this?
I think it's a pretty optimistic take here. I think the way it's going to work, and if I were the SEC, what I would do is I would actually, and this is the way I think it's going to be the 6th or 7th of October. It's going to be a Tuesday morning. You're going to wake up and you're going to get the news that a Bitcoin ETF has been approved. In fact, all the Bitcoin ETFs that were up at the next deadline that meet their criteria are going to be in one wave approved. I don't think they're going to wait for one of those deadlines because they're going to try and maintain the high ground narrative that, you know what, we had always had it planned that we were eventually going to approve these. These finally met our criteria. And if they wait until the deadline, it looks like their hand was forced to approve it. So if they are going to approve it, you're going to see it before that deadline. If we get to the point where we're waiting for the deadline date, that's not when they're going to approve it. If it's October 17th is their last day to approve it, you can bet that the can's going to get kicked down the road. But I think what's going to happen is before one of these deadline dates, you're going to get the SEC saying, you know what, we're appeased. We think there's enough investor protection here. All that's going to happen is exactly what you said. It's going to be that the bags have been stacked, that BlackRock is going to get the lion's share of that initial capital flow that comes into the market. And, you know, they're going to be off to the races. So I think it's going to be a high ground narrative. It's going to be very, very positive, I think, for price appreciation. But I think that's going to be a random Tuesday, Wednesday morning. You're going to wake up and you're going to hear that news.
Are we going to see a God candle that morning, or will the news just kind of fade out and no one's even going to notice?
I think it's a God candle. I really do. I think it is. I mean, because people are so psychologically tuned into that. Everybody that I know that's still on the sidelines for Bitcoin, like, yep, I get it, Brian. Read the book, read an article, whatever. I'm ready to go. They don't think like I need to buy it now. They're literally waiting for, okay, when the BlackRock ETF gets approved, that's when I go. It's shocking to me. And these aren't all old guys. These are like guys in their 30s and 40s. You know, they're like middle-aged dudes that are thinking this way. It's shocking to me. But a lot of people aren't forward thinkers, right? We were talking about that earlier. People that aren't trying to look around corners. They're waiting. They're okay with being second. That's what's frustrating for us as Bitcoiners. We have a mindset of this works, so let's be first. That's why you see in the bell curve of adoption, you see the lunatic fringe at the beginning. Everybody else is fine with being in the middle of the bell curve. There's going to be appreciation for those people. We're so early, 25,000. If you get Bitcoin at 100,000 per Bitcoin, you're getting it early. So I think they're actually going to be okay.
Okay, love it. I love the optimistic take. Del, what's your take on this stuff?
I think Brian's 100% right. I don't think that Gary Gensler, given everything that I've seen out of any of the political arms, nobody wants to play weak. Nobody ever wants to be like, oh, I'm the injured person over here. Come over, help me. Everybody wants to pretend like they all had the answers all the time and they knew exactly what was going on when they're all clueless idiots. We're all clueless idiots. We were just talking about this morning, Opti, how everybody's just kind of an adult. Well, we're all children in adult bodies just trying to figure out one day from the next. I mean, nobody really has an idea of what's going on. No matter what anybody tells you, Nobody knows what's happening 5 minutes from now. So when I hear people like Chrissy Lagarde and all these people saying like, oh, we've taken everything into account. I one time had a manager that was upset at me for doing, I don't even remember what this was. This was years ago. He's like, you don't understand my position. As a business owner, I have to look 100 years in the past and 100 years into the future and know exactly what's going to happen at any given moment. I'm like, what are you even saying? Are you listening to the words coming out of your mouth right now? 100 years into the past and 100 years into the future? You don't even remember what you did yesterday, let alone what's going to happen tomorrow. Give me a break. And so when I hear Gary Gensler marble mouthing his way through another testimony, it's just gonna be that. And then someday, they'll figure out, or Larry Fink is going to call him up and be like, all right, today's the day, go ahead and pull the trigger, and be like, all right, it's been approved and everything's fallen under our purview and it's checked it out and it did yes. And it's like, nothing's changed, you idiot. Nothing changed from 4 weeks ago to today, except Larry Fink got that off the phone call because his niece is like, okay, Uncle Larry, thank you. I can finally buy the 3 yachts that I wanted. I've got a villa out in Marseille. It's all good. Yeah, go ahead and I'm good to go. Everything's fine. He's like, all right, Gary, fire it up. Get those God candles lit. And then it's off to the moon. Everybody else is like, oh, yeah, look, he had it all figured out. MIT genius. No, bunch of freaking morons. They don't know what's going on. They don't have any freaking clue what's going on from one day to the next. Just like you don't know what you're having for lunch today. Brian, do you know what you're having for dinner tonight? Is it set in stone? Do you know for a fact what you're having for dinner tonight?
No freaking clue.
Exactly. I don't know
a big
if
boy.
I'm even eating tonight. Yeah, I have this coffee. How much is it going to get refilled? I don't know. Opti and I don't even know what bed we're sharing, or if we're sharing a bed when we go to Pacific Bitcoin. We don't know what's going on. Nobody knows.
Oh man, hold on. Dale, you crack me up, bro. There's no way I can follow that rant, but yes, so I think it's very interesting just to see the power dynamics play out on, on the Congress floor. And there was one glaring thread, and again, I don't want to like pick sides or make this a partisan issue, but when I heard Maxine Waters' opening statement, all I could think was, and I said this on the show, I think it was last week, just you can tell who is anti-freedom and who is basically a corporate lackey for all of the interests of these corporate shills out there. And I don't know, when I heard Maxine Waters, maybe it's because I just watched the Atlas Shrugged movie again. I was just thinking like, wow, like she's just playing cover for big business, and you can't convince me otherwise. And there's a few other people in there. Obviously, my favorite politician, Brad Sherman, as well. But hey, if you know what words they're using and why they're using them and the way they frame them, it becomes very obvious what they say and why they're doing it. Anyways, before we move on to the culture, and I think you guys are going to really like this one, shouts out to Kaboom Racks. The news is brought to you guys from Kaboom Racks. Are you looking for the best place to buy miners? Your answer is Kaboom Racks. Go to kaboomracks.com. Make sure you are getting in touch with the boys over there. Shouts out to Alex from Kaboom Racks, good friend. Get the top deals, the best prices, repair your ASICs. You can get hosting services from them all in one place. Get started through our affiliate link and launch your mining journey with Kaboom Racks today. Absolutely love the boys over there. They're true Bitcoiners in every sense of the word. Anyways, let's get into the culture. I think you guys are going to really like this conversation. I'm excited for this.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today.
Oh man, you guys are going ham in the chat. Anyways, Del, what are we talking about today?
Well, I'm going to tee Brian up because I think he knows a little bit more about it than I do. But one of the fears that Bitcoiners have, that people have, anybody has, is walking down a dark alley. You've got some money in your wallet. Maybe you're wearing your seed phrase or like Snoop Dogg around your neck like an absolute clown. Or you just have it in your head. You've got some problems going on. And the person that's going to come and fix those problems, money, more problems. You got a bunch of money, you got a bunch of Bitcoin. Somebody's going to come and fix that problem with a $5 wrench attack. Well, how do you defend yourself? Brian, what can you possibly do if somebody's coming at you with a wrench?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, I'm going to do high block. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to do like a Rex. I was going to do a Rex Kwando.
Rex Kwando, hell yeah.
Yeah. Grab my wrist. Grab my other wrists. Well, I don't know, Del, you guys are going to be so you guys are sharing a bed at Pacific Bitcoin. Did I catch that?
That's right. Yeah, there's two queens, but it gets cold in one bed. Let me tell you what.
When you got two queens in the same room, the queen will share a queen.
Oh man.
All right, man. So are you guys?
That's four queens in the same bed.
That's four queens.
Whoa.
Are you guys looking to get a little bit of a workout at Pacific Bitcoin?
A minor one.
For sure,
I was thinking more walking, but yeah, you know.
All right. So we're going to be hosting Ben Askren. He was scheduled to be here on the show with us this morning. We missed last minute. But Ben Askren is going to be hosting the Orange Pill app $5 wrench attack self-defense seminar at Pacific Bitcoin. So Pacific Bitcoin isn't a conference, it's a festival. So when Pacific Bitcoin reached out, Orange Pill app's the official app of the conference. They said, what do you have? How are you guys going to help us pump this festival element? We have the Red Bull Magic Money Court. We have basketball going on. What else can we do? I said, you know what? It would be really cool to have some grappling, like a grappling class and demonstration in open mat. So if anybody likes Brazilian jiu-jitsu, wrestling, grappling, or if you're just interested in it, if you've never done it before, Ben Askren and myself are going to be hosting a seminar. It's going to be at noon on day one of Pacific Bitcoin. So it's Thursday the 5th at the Magic Money Courts. And you get to roll with Ben Askren. He's an MMA legend. He's a former UFC fighter. He's an Olympic wrestler. So if you want to come and grapple with one of the greats, you can do it. You don't have to have any kind of experience or anything like that. They do have some washrooms, so you can wash your sweaty mess off at the end. But Ben Askren will be there to teach you how to defend yourself from a $5 wrench attack. And what I will say is we're going to be covering rear naked chokes. So if it wasn't getting weird enough with you guys sharing a bed, we're going to be covering rear naked chokes. And if anybody doesn't know what a rear naked choke is, it's when somebody comes up from behind and tries to choke you unconscious. It's actually one of the easiest things to defend against if you know how to do it. And so I'm not even saying this jokingly. Like, as a man, having a defense to somebody walking up from behind you and choking you unconscious, there's something that mentally happens where you actually walk a little bit more confidently, knowing that you can't be as easily attacked from behind. I don't know what it is, but as I think humans, we feel vulnerable. It reminds me of the episode of The Office when Dwight says, "I never let anybody walk behind me because that's where attacks come from," and then Jim slaps him across the face, right? So we as humans, we're worried about the $5 wrench attack in any element of life, right? Just anywhere we are, we feel like we have, as Bitcoiners, we have a target on our back. Make yourself a little more anti-fragile. You have anti-fragile money. You have anti-fragile communication with Nostr. You have in real life relationships through Orange Pill app. You're anti-fragile in so many ways. Make yourself anti-fragile to the $5 wrench attack. Let Ben Askren teach you a thing or two.
Love it.
People that haven't gone to a jiu-jitsu class have absolutely no idea how a month, honestly, just a single month of going once a week will do. Like, I went to jiu-jitsu, so I'm not any Ben Askren, that's for damn sure. But I've gone. My wife and I went for about a year straight, so we earned single stripes on white belt. So we have an idea of what it is. And what the biggest eye opener was walking in that first day, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to show I'm strong, and I am strong. But if somebody that was like girls that were, I mean, not women, and they're not girls, but women that were 30 pounds lighter than me were able to just maneuver onto my back, get me in a choke. I was like, I don't know what just happened. And I could do the same thing to guys that were 100 pounds heavier than me after I'd been going for about 6 months. They'd show up like, oh, yeah, I just saw this UFC fight and I wanted to, learn a little bit. And you just have no idea. I have 2 real life experiences where this happened. I think I shared one with Opti in the Slack channel, but then a more recent one happened. So I work at my day job.
Wow, I should have got that video for you.
Yeah, so I've got a retail job, and I live in a part of the country where we experience almost weekly basis somebody trying to steal from us. Well, one day the guy tried to run out. I jumped on his back, got him into a rear naked choke, and I was like, I could have choked him out, no problem. But the people that were surrounding me were like, no, they didn't want a Daniel Cooney situation. And then it happened again a couple of weeks ago where a guy ran out of the store. I run up behind him, get him in a double arm like Nelson, just drag him to the ground. Knowing how to do that and the confidence that you walk around with, knowing that 99.8% of the entire planet has no clue what they're doing, and you do, like, just 6 months will make you drastically superior to so much of the planet and knowing how to defend yourself. And that helps immensely.
Right. Well, think about with Bitcoin, 1% knowledge of knowing what hard money is makes you wiser when it comes to money than 99% of the world. 1%
Exactly.
knowledge of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu will make you tougher and more capable of handling yourself than 99% of the world. And so I got to share this last night. I referenced I got to do a keynote speech at, down in San Diego last night. And I actually shared a clip from my first fight. I used to actually do MMA as an amateur. And I'd been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a couple of years at this point. This was back in the day, but I'd been a striker for a long time. I was a pretty proficient Muay Thai kickboxer. If anybody knows who Sean Strickland is, he just won the middleweight championship of the world. He's one of my training partners. I've trained with him for years. My rib on this side right here actually sticks out because he punched me in the back so hard that on my right side, one of my ribs pops out forward. It's kind of disgusting, but it's cool now that he's the champion. I'm like, okay, you scarred me for life, but at least you're a champion. But at the time, so the video I shared was from my first MMA fight where the guy I was going against, he was a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, meaning that you have about 5 years of experience. So he was much more experienced when it comes to grappling than I was. And if anybody knows what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu means, literally translated, it means the gentle art. We think of it as like this really, really violent thing. It's actually it's like the most peaceable way to subdue somebody. If I'm at a family barbecue and, Uncle Bill is drunk and he's like starting to get handsy with people and stuff like that, I'm not going to go up and just throw a right hook and knock Uncle Bill out, right? But if he's gotten to the point where he's getting kind of rowdy and he's trying to hurt people, I can use jiu-jitsu and I can subdue him in a gentle way, right? It's actually through strength. It's like you hear Jordan Peterson talk about this all the time from his, he talks about this from, I think that from the Bible. He does a Bible series where he talks about meekness. Meekness isn't the idea of being weak or being passive. Meekness is actually the idea of having incredible strength, being so strong that you can actually choose to sheathe your strength. You can choose to withhold your strength and only use it when you need to. Meekness is this idea of being an absolute monster, but choosing to restrain yourself and only use it when the time is needed. So what I learned through my first MMA fight was I obliterated this guy in the first round. I broke his nose. I head kicked him. I had him in a chokehold. He ends up slipping out. There was so much blood from his nose being broken that he slipped out of my guillotine choke because he was just a far superior grappler. And then he proceeds to win the fight. He won the next 2 rounds. He actually didn't hurt me. He just took me down, subdued me, and won the rest of the fight on points. He actually had to get checked with the doctor after the fight. I didn't have a scratch on me, but he won the fight because he was able to control me because he was a master of defense. I was really good with the offense. But that's how offense works. With offense, you can throw everything you want at it, but you're eventually going to get tired. And this is part of the ethos of Bitcoin. That's why so many Bitcoiners are into jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu, it's the art of survival. It's not the art of having to dominate somebody. If you get good enough at it, you will be able to dominate and control people, but it's the art of walking out of a situation intact. Elio Gracie, who's the godfather of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he used to tell his kids all the time. He would say, well, they would get in a fight and they would lose a match on points. And they would say, oh, I lost. He goes, you didn't lose. Did you get submitted? Did you get killed? No, you survived. You held your own against a bigger, stronger opponent. And that's the goal of our art, is survival. And that's what Bitcoin is, right? Bitcoin isn't offensive at all. Bitcoin is pure defense. And so as Bitcoiners, we have this idea that it's about maintaining, about survival, and about moving forward. And that's why I think that things like this $5 wrench attack defense seminar are so cool. And there's such an important thing for us to have as Bitcoiners. And like I said, I lost my first MMA fight having a little bit of grappling experience, but I fell in love with the art of defense through that fight, seeing that I could pour myself out and just hurt a man, but not take him to the point where I could take him out. And if he was a master of defense enough, that he could survive. So I fell in love with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I got my black belt last year. So that took me about 10 years to get my black belt. And it's one of those things that it's a really emboldening concept when you get to go and you get to grind with other people and work hard. And there's an absolute proof of work element that comes to this grappling thing. So I highly suggest, if anybody hasn't stepped on the mats before, or if you have and you're just looking to get a nice roll in, it's going to be a really, really fun time. rolling with Ben and I at Pacific Bitcoin.
Love it, Brian. Just one simple question that maybe the audience is asking: is this like a sign up thing, or do people just show up and they can be a part of it?
So please sign up ahead of time. If you're in Orange Pill app, there's an event you'll see posted today. You can RSVP to that event. I believe that Pacific Bitcoin will also have a sign up thing, but please follow me on Twitter or follow the Orange Pill app on Twitter. It's Brian Dement on Twitter, or Orange Pill app on Twitter. And we're going to post that sign up form. But you can just show up. Say if you haven't decided and you're there and you want to come, of course, we would love to have you. Spaces might fill up, so it's better to sign up early than just trying to walk up, though.
Awesome. And that's kind of trolling ourselves here a little bit. I've recently realized just how important the culture segment is, because it's like turning Simply Bitcoin into a lifestyle brand where we can talk about everything that is connected to Bitcoin, that Bitcoiners are doing, that we think is awesome, that isn't just necessarily about Bitcoin, but obviously is also about Bitcoin, because we say it all the time here on the show. And I say it all the time on Spaces as well. One of the most important aspects of Bitcoin is living a good life. And part of that is self-protection. Part of that is getting yourself healthy. Part of that is clearing your mind and having some semblance of Zen in this chaotic world. And then, of course, being informed, understanding that Bitcoin is the solution. And then as everyone else in the chat, like hanging out with like-minded individuals and remembering that you're not alone in this, that there are more people out there, that there is a community on Orange Pill app or in your neighborhood that also believe what you believe. Actually, another tangent, Brian. I saw, and it's totally off topic, but since you are part of Orange Pill app, I saw that you guys are having some trouble on the Google App Store. What's going on over there?
Oh man, so there's a company called Orange, which is a telecommunications company. They have nothing to do with Bitcoin. They have nothing to do with social networking. But apparently they own the word orange. And so
wow.
They said that Orange Pill app is an infringement on their trademark. And so we've been taken out of the US Google Play Store temporarily. So if you're on Google, if you have a Google phone or an Android phone, you can go to our website, theorangepillapp.com, and you can still download the APK file. So you can still get on the app. You can still pay in sats. I mean, it's like the most Bitcoiner thing ever because there's a workaround for it. So even if you can't pay in fiat, literally Bitcoin fixed this problem. We're still getting signups from Google Android phones because you can pay in sats as opposed to fiat. But it's ridiculous, man. They yeah. So they just basically their trademark attorney said you can't do that. They reached out to the Google Play Store, and the weird thing is there's other apps that have the word orange in them that they haven't gone after. It's literally like they're like picking a fight with the Bitcoin company.
Wow.
The cool thing is we've been getting the Bitcoin community's gotten behind it. I mean, Saifedean, Natalie Burnell, BTC Sessions, all these people have been retweeting it and sharing it, and they've been CCing or tagging trademark attorneys in it and things like that. So we've gotten a lot of really good feedback. But man, it's just fiat companies doing fiat stuff.
Wow. Amazing. Couldn't make up, but hey, more power to you. It almost seems like, what do we say, you're over the target? It almost seems like maybe you're doing something right over there if they're that afraid.
I mean, it kind of is a big pat on the back. Like we as frustrating as it is, because it's legitimately frustrating. We have, a lot of money invested in the branding and all the, everything that goes along with creating a brand. And they're saying, you need to change the name of your company on all these things. But as frustrating as that is, it really does. It's like some of our favorite Bitcoiners have really have faced these types of trials when it comes to fiat companies. And so, I mean, this is the battle we have to pick. This is the war we have to wage. And going back to the Russel Brand thing that we were talking about, I think it's like Spartacus, right? If we decide to stand up, if you guys don't know the end of Spartacus, they're basically they get captured. All of Spartacus and his men, they were trying to overthrow the Roman government, or they were trying to create a revolution, and they lose the final battle and they're surrounded. And the Roman general doesn't know who Spartacus is because they're all just these peasant slaves. They all look the same. He's not dressed in like a official garb or anything like that. So the Roman general says, if you guys just give us Spartacus, we're going to crucify and execute him, but you guys can go free. If you don't, then we're going to have to slaughter you all. We're going to have to crucify you all. And what happens is one of his men stands up and says, I'm Spartacus. And another guy stands up and says, I'm Spartacus. And all of his men stand up and say they're Spartacus. That's how we win. That's how we fight against the machine. That's how we push back against the fiat status quo, is when Russel Brand is out there and they try to knock him down, other people stand up too. And that's what's beautiful about the Bitcoin community, is we've reached escape velocity. We're at the point now where, yeah, they come after Orange Pill app for, trademark infringement, apparently owning the color orange, which is ridiculous. The Bitcoin community stands up. I mean, we didn't even really have to do that much like vocalizing of this thing. We just put it out there and then the community ran with it. I think we have articles coming out on a few different publications that we didn't even ask for them to do, but people are saying, we want to run this story because the Bitcoin community wants to know about it and wants to make sure that it's made right.
Wow. Well, more power to you guys. And as everyone in the chat saying, using the Spartacus meme, we are all Satoshi. I am Satoshi. You are Satoshi. Stack sat. Stay humble. Stay solvent. But yeah, more power to you guys. And I guess we'll keep our audience updated on what's going on with you guys moving forward. But guys, let's get into your favorite portion of the show. Actually, before we do that, Brian, I told everyone that we would like this culture because not only is it talking about getting your body right, moving around, protecting yourself, but hey, we updated them on what you guys are doing over there on Orange Pill app.
There we go.
All right, guys, let's get into the meme review.
The Daily Meme Review.
Wait, hold on. Opti says Chrissy is Satoshi. Y'all are wildin'. All right, you already know the deal. This is the meme review where you tag us on memes on Twitter, either Simply Bitcoin TV, maybe tag Simply Bitcoin TV and my personal account, Optimus Fields, because our official Twitter account is getting crazy. It's getting hectic out there. Our Twitter crew is going crazy on Twitter, and we're getting all kinds of notifications. Anyways, you can also drop them in our Telegram, t.me/simplybitcointv. Shouts out to everyone in there. We just broke 1,000 people in there. I think, I don't know. I haven't looked at the updated. Last I checked was 1,007. Maybe we got more there. t.me/simplybitcointv. Appreciate every single one of you guys. And of course, as you can tell from today's show, we are in an information war. This is the new battleground, which is ideas. This is the new frontier, which is freedom. Tweets are the bullets. Memes are the artillery. You are frontline soldiers. Continue to spread the signal. Continue to ridicule the corporate press with memes. Continue to put out humor and keeping your friends' heads in the game. Anyways, this first meme is not necessarily by a known Bitcoiner, but he is a known, I guess for lack of better words, like an influencer. And this is at Luke Belmar. And if you know anything about him, he is also kind of like I don't know. I wouldn't call him like necessarily a self-help guru or someone, but he helps people improve their lives, and he's financially literate. And I'm pretty sure he's a Bitcoiner as well, though he might be a shitcoin trader. I don't know, but I enjoy some of his content. Anyways, I thought this is a good meme. And we got a picture here of, I'm sure maybe there's people out there that have never walked into a bank. But if you're old millennial boomer like me, then you remember going into a bank and you remember seeing these pens here, and they have the chain on them on the pen because they're so afraid of you stealing their pens. And I really like Luke's quip on this. He's like, if you ever wonder if the banks trust you and care about your business, just remember this image, and it is a pen with a chain. They do not trust you at all, and you give them your money and you trust them when they blatantly abuse you like this, when they blatantly disrespect you like this. They can't even trust you with your pens, and you are trusting them with your money. That's a slapper right there. Okay, next meme is by the Bitcoin Therapist, and he goes, the money is broken, #BTC. And we got this politician. It looks like a Skeletor politician with the Uncle Sam hat on him. And he goes, Bitcoin is bad. And the podium is Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Charles Schwab, Wells Fargo, PNC, Citibank, JP Morgan. And behind them is the national debt. And this isn't updated, bro. You got to update this. It said $28 trillion, but now we're at $33 trillion in and counting. And we got war, the military budget, we have salaries and briberies, we have propaganda, we have COVID spending, we have roads, and we have a bunch of skulls in here in the national debt. It's the money, stupid. It's always been the money. The money is broken. You need to opt out of the fiat system and save a little bit of Bitcoin. And on that note, shouts out to Discovering BTC. They tagged me in this morning, and I couldn't have picked a better one on the meme review. And he goes, Discovering Bitcoin. And he tagged us and goes, freedom or slavery, right? And we got this picture here, and I guess it's a statue. I think I've seen this before. And it goes, not a Bitcoiner on the beginning of the statue. And we have someone that is, I don't know, mummified in the wall. And we have someone breaking out of the statue, and then someone almost breaking out of the statue. And then we have the Bitcoiner completely free of the fiat matrix and living on his own terms. And as Brian was saying, outside of the cave and seeing the world clearly. All right, this next one. If you were, shout out to my boy Vikingo. If you were in the spaces yesterday, we were kind of talking about Parker Lewis's latest article. We've covered it on the show before, I believe. And it is, dang, I'm blanking on the title. It's something like Getting Paid in Bitcoin Thesis or something like that. And Vikingo dropped a meme because if you've been in the Twitter spaces with us, you've heard Vikingo lament about the fact that he's been trying to get paid in Bitcoin forever and no one wants to pay him in Bitcoin. He goes, hashtag Bitcoin. And we got a skull here behind the computer. And he goes, me trying to get paid in Bitcoin. He has yet to get paid in Bitcoin after about, I don't know, 2 years of trying to get paid in Bitcoin. Do not stop out there. Still continue to trade your goods and services for Bitcoin. Get paid in Bitcoin. Live on the Bitcoin standard. This is the way. Last meme is by Maxie's Club. And it goes 527 bull. And it goes, my Bitcoin bull run, 2 moods. Road to 100K and everyone's partying with laser eyes. And then on the right side, it goes him trying to stop the God candle. Stop. I do not have enough Bitcoin. This is the road and the mind of all Bitcoiners. We get excited when the price goes up, but it's bittersweet because we get less sats for our dirty fiat dollars. Anyways, guys, drop your meme review score in the chat right here, and we will cover them live. Okay, my meme review score is this bottle opener. It's kind of cheap, but like it's got a rubber bottle. It's whatever. It worked. It does its job. Anyways, Del, what is your meme review score?
The Roman Empire.
Wow. Okay, how about you, Brian?
Well, why do you have a bottle opener at your desk right now? What are you doing over there?
I literally just grabbed. All right, look, hold on. I was telling Del before the show, my desk is covered with nothing but meme reviews, and I'm like, meme review scores, and I'm like running out of things over here. So I just like grab things from the kitchen, and I'm just like bringing stuff in here for the meme review.
Just popping bottles at 9 a.m.
Yeah, you guys don't see it over here, popping bottles.
My score is 2 Orange Pill app hats.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, which one do you like better? You like the
I kind of like that khaki one. Or
the khaki's not bad, huh?
No, I like the dark blue or whatever that is you got on your head.
Okay, I'm a khaki maxi, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, guys, drop your meme review score in the chat, and we will cover it live. But before I do that, get yourself some Simply Bitcoin merch. Support the boys over here. Support the crew. I'm actually wearing it today for once. Really love this shirt. It makes me look buff. It makes me look like Brian DeMint over here. I don't know if you guys know, but this guy's like 7 foot tall and buff.
7 foot tall.
You'll figure this out when you're at Pacific Bitcoin Conference. But scan the QR code, guys, and get yourself a hoodie, a t-shirt. It is starting to get cold out there. We got yelled at someone in the chat trolling us that like, oh, you guys are putting out hoodies in the middle of summer. Guys, I don't know about you, but it's starting to become fall. Come on, guys. What's going on here?
Comes up quick.
Yeah, exactly. We got to give it to you before you need it, guys. It's like Bitcoin. You might want to get some before you need it, because when you need it, it is too late. All right, guys. Actually, Elaine. Also, guys and ladies, we do have some music. Okay, we got meme review scores in here. We got Hammer Saw. I give these memes a pen that explodes in your pocket when you try to leave the bank with it. Let's see. We got another one by Eagle, and he goes, I give those memes the warning on the bank's ATM screen to cover your PIN number so you don't get robbed. Okay, we got UTXO, and he goes, I give the memes a cave made from orange Play-Doh. Let's go. We go Dr. Surge 9000. Meme review score 300 or 37 trillion national debt. 37 is the most common random number between 1 and 0. Elaine, sorry, but you're wrong here. She got score. No meme music. Elaine flips Opti at Pacific Bitcoin. Well, hey, now you don't have to. Okay, Opti says score. Dell, Nico, Brian. I just texted Chrissy and she said she's okay if we all share a bed at Pacific Bitcoin. Okay, I don't think I can read that one. The rest of that. XX, I give memes an angelic BTC. Let's go. Okay, a few more. Actually, do we go till the music goes? I don't remember. Planet Earth meme score 1 VHS tape of UFC 1 with Shamrock versus Gracie, rear naked tap route. If you know, you know. Let's go. All right, Nigel Lowry, I give those memes. Not having to explain to a random bank employee why I want to withdraw $2,000 cash of my own money. Yes, okay. Right, it's so many UFC scores. All right, Jose Cuervo, meme score. Fastest knockout in UFC history. If you know, you know. Let's see. All right, yeah, I can read your score, Kim. Kim Gage, score. The friggin' storm that woke me up at 4 a.m. and scared the living shit out of me. I don't know if I can read this one, but I'll read it anyway. The Bitcoin Bugle. I give these memes a free year on Hasher. I don't know what that means. I probably said something I shouldn't have said. Anyways, that's the end of the meme review, guys. Appreciate you. Brian, thank you for coming on today. Really inspirational story, and I'll have to sign up. I don't know if I'll partake in the tumbling, but I at least want to watch and learn. But Brian, what are you working on? What do you want the people to go check out? And I guess we'll see you next week, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see you guys in person. So just a couple quick things. Today at noon Pacific time, I have a Twitter Spaces through the Orange Pill app with Miss Natalie Brunell. So if you guys want to jump in that conversation, you two gentlemen are more than welcome to partake in the conversation as well. If you want to come on and share, a nugget or two of your wisdom, that would be great. But yeah, today at noon PST with Natalie Brunell on our Twitter Spaces. I gotta say thank you. For those of you guys that watch daily. You'll notice that my book was advertised. Bitcoin Evangelism was advertised last month. Guess what? Hey, for future advertisers, please use this as some of your ammunition. You guys got it to number 2 in the world on inflation. So out of all the books in the world on inflation, it was number 2.
Yeah.
So
wow.
That was, there's no coincidence that it happened to be during the period that we were advertising on the show. So the
No coincidence at all.
They pushed it over the line.
That's an endorsement.
I mean, that was money. And then the last thing I'll say, and I forgot to say this. This will be in the event if you register through Orange Pill app. There is a 1 million sat bounty on my head. If you can come and roll and tap me out at Pacific Bitcoin. Now, it has to be on the mat. You can't just like come up and like hit me in the head with a baseball bat.
Surprise you at 3 a.m.
Yeah, like I have to say that. But during the $5 wrench attack seminar, we're going to have an open mat session. And if anybody wants to roll with me, if you can tap, I'm not saying I can't be tapped out. I'm just saying I'll give you 1 million sats if you can come and tap me out. So if anybody wants to come and, slap me with one of their heel hooks or something like that, I'll give you 1 million sats if you can do it.
Is that for the first person to do that, or is it open bounty?
The purse is open. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, don't forget that Brian is literally 7 feet tall and he's a monster. So hey, come claim your 1 million sats, boys. All right, Brian.
Brian, you're a black belt?
Yes.
Oh, well, shit. Zero chance. Nobody. Ben Askren's the only person there that might have a chance.
And I've told Ben that he doesn't qualify. So
okay, yeah. So nobody
actually might be fun to see
bounty.
Actually, I don't know if you remember, but at the Bitcoin conference, there's always the guy that holds up the sign. Like, if you can take me down like 1 Bitcoin challenge, maybe he'll be there. And
well, did you know that Ben actually went up to him at Bitcoin Miami and the guy said, "Oh, no, like you're an Olympic wrestler. We're not going to do this." Like he turned Ben down. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was on concrete. Like I actually went and looked for the guy. I wanted to see if he's a good wrestler. I'd probably have a hard time taking him down. I might be able to submit him, but I don't think I could take him down. But I don't want to try takedowns on concrete. Like I for sure don't want to do that. Yeah,
I heard rumors that he's also like some kind of prominent wrestler as well.
But he's
And,
gotta
like,
be. Nobody's gonna hold a sign.
Yeah,
like
whether
that.
it was
no
like,
idea
I
what
don't
they're
know if
doing.
it's world champion or state champion of something, but he's also pretty good.
level.
Yeah,
he was high
exactly.
level. Yeah.
All right. Well, Brian, thank you for coming on today. Dell,
Mm.
thank you for filling in on Wednesday. I know we've had guests for you, so we'll hopefully be able to get a Dell rant on the next time we come on. But
I got a little rant today.
you got a little rant. What do you got on for the YouTube videos? Are you done for this week? Are you
No, man. Hell
slacking
no.
on us now, or what? What we got for the YouTube clips?
What are you talking about slacking? What? No, I've got to record 4 videos today so that I can have some things while we're in California, and then other ones for backups. Yeah, no, man, your boy's working.
Can you you got any leaks out there?
No.
No. All right.
Shut your
That's
mouth
for you guys.
and wait for the master to work. I gotta cook.
Let the boy cook. All right, Dell. Thank you for coming on. Brian, thanks for coming on. Everyone, you already know the deal. We appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. Like, share, subscribe. Just start talking about Bitcoin. People need to know the answer. That's the most important thing here. Look, we're going to do our job. We're going to show up every single day so that we keep you guys informed, keep you entertained, and obviously try to do our best so that the shitcoin channels do not dominate YouTube, because it's a hellhole over there. Anyways, we will be back tomorrow for our normal show. We love you guys. Have a good rest of your day. And on that note, go outside, touch some grass, get some exercise, get your body movement. This is the way, guys. It is not just enough to be financially secure. You need to get your body right, your mind right, get your spirit right. This is what it means to be a Bitcoiner. On that note, peace out, guys. We will see you tomorrow.